Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Divine here for Divine Check Collective, and I have another, I would say, current event happening video for you today. But in the interim, as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn your notifications on, and if you so inclined, leave me a comment. I would really appreciate it. Now, this one got me out of bed. I had to put on my face. Guys, I have my face on. This dressing is, I'm crawling back into bed after I record this video because I'm in recovery. But I literally had to come out of bed for this one because it's important enough where everybody should get out of bed. So here we go. So current events. For the last couple of weeks, I would say, last 2 weeks or so, Jamaican news entities, our lovely gossip media, variety of media channels. If you do a Facebook and IG and anything search, you will know that we do have a 17-year-old young woman in Jamaica who is clinging to life, has been on life support for the last 2 weeks because she was allegedly, and it's not even alleged, but allegedly beaten while she was out at a party. And here's the alleged part, that this occurred because she was staring inappropriately at some females. Staring. Now, I have difficulty with this one, and I want y'all to help me out because I don't know when staring became an illegal issue. Staring. A 17-year-old young woman just at the cusp of growing into adulthood was accosted by allegedly not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 adult women. No, come close. No, I'm not gonna say I was there and I know what happened and what led up to it, so I'm gonna leave that for the authorities because clearly a crime was committed here. Now, that alone isn't what dragged me out of bed today. What actually dragged me out of bed is to know that this young woman has been on life support for 2 weeks. Her mother hasn't been able to hear her voice, to see her smile, to have a conversation with her for 2 whole weeks. And it's also being alleged that this young lady has not had an MRI test done. An MRI test. So she is in need of an MRI test. And there are no vacancies. There are no options for her to obtain this test until December. Mind you, we're in November. And that's still weeks away. Weeks away, and she needs an MRI test, literally, whether it's of the brain, and I assume it was because apparently majority of the damages was done to her head, or it's a whole body MRI. But that really is to highlight where the issues are, whether this poor young lady has a lot of brain swelling and really should be on some steroids, whether this poor young lady has a hematoma that needs to be drained. We presently are operating, at least they're operating, without the necessary facilities, the necessary diagnostic imaging to not only diagnose, but to treat this 17-year-old girl. To treat. Now let that wrap around your head. If you are not appalled by the Jamaican healthcare system, come closer. You're missing something. Now, if you have never been at the mercy of the Jamaican healthcare system, you are blessed. You are blessed and you are highly favored. And I hope that you are never at the mercy of the Jamaican healthcare system. I hope that you don't know what Linstead Hospital looked like, or ever even as much as drive by Spanish Town Hospital. Okay? I hope you never set foot in KPH. And if you are dead, you know, drive go up a UE. Hospitals all over the island, they are at the mercy of a system that does not support the very infrastructure that is there to save lives. The infrastructure in a whole entire island, the most popular island, and you can argue with me, in the Caribbean, the most well-known island, the island that gives you reggae music, the island that gives you beautiful beaches and white sand beaches, the island that gives you some of the greatest cuisines and the most wonderful people. That is the island that I speak of, that has a healthcare system that is subpar, where there's so much money coming in from tourism and exploitation of Jamaican music and the selling out of our land and our seas, where we cannot go onto a beach because the beach is crowded by an establishment that does not recognize that nature at its core belong to the people. This is the island that I speak of, the same island that 17-year-old young babies who haven't even had the chance to experience life, that hasn't had the chance to go and pursue, whether it's singing, that little girl, she sings so beautifully, or whether she wants to become a nurse or a doctor. That island is not giving her the opportunity that she deserves to live. No, I'm not. Listen, we have some wonderful nurses and we have some wonderful doctors that are on the front lines. The front lines trying to actually win and save lives. And I know you are there. I've been a nurse for over 10 years. I see you, I feel you, I heart you, I life you. I think we have to recognize that at a system, there is classism in Jamaica, there is racism in Jamaica, and sometimes there are systemic inequities in Jamaica, where the system is set up for its residents, who majority are not even of the middle class, will fail because the healthcare system is at cost, or the one that is accessible to Jamaicans is subpar. So how can we evolve? How can we move forward when the very same system that is supposed to save our lives and have preventative health care, that same system is failing us and failing our babies, little babies? Come on, Andrew Olness, Sir Brogard, Honorable Mr. Holness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, and all the members of state. You have to intervene and save this little girl's life. Her life is worth living. Her life, the whole entire Jamaica, is in an uproar because at the minimum, we deserve the ability to breathe, to live, to thrive. If your healthcare system is not fixed, then nothing else in the island of Jamaica will make sense. You cannot move forward if your infrastructure isn't there to support and uphold the health of Jamaicans. You cannot move forward. There is no country if you have a failing healthcare system. And we not only need to recognize that, we need to do something about it. There are so many Jamaicans at yard and abroad who are more than willing and poised and poised to work if Jamaica will say, you know what? Let us take back our residents, right? Let us listen to the youth, listen to people with innovative ideas. Let us not just recognize that there is a problem, because we know there's a problem. But how about we move towards a solution? So, Mr. Onles, if you can ever get around to it, that email, that message that I sent you, if you could ever read it, Dr. Christopher Tufton, there's also a message in your inbox that has been there for months, where I identified, and my last straw was Jodian. And if you don't remember Jodian, you've already lost a part of you, because we should never forget, at 23 years old, she died. She died in one of the most sacred and honored rituals after giving birth at 23-year-old. At 23-year-old. And the money that flows inside and outside of Jamaica, the money, if that money was taken to improving just one thing, me beg you know, the healthcare system, we would be so much further ahead. So much further ahead if we valued life. I crawled out of my bed. Just came from the hospital, not even 24 hours. Crawled out of my bed because I cannot believe that here we're watching another young baby die. I cannot believe it. Somebody needs to be held accountable. The people that we put in positions of power need to be held accountable. An MRI? An MRI. In an emergency situation, a life or death situation, we're waiting for weeks. Let's get it together. Let's get it together. Jamaica, we need to do better. There have to be instances where as a country we stand up and say no more. Enough is enough. We've now crossed the line where it's affecting the lives of our children. There's so many tax-paying people in Jamaica. So many. There's so many other things that are important to government. And all we're saying is, listen, give us the opportunity to live and live freely for our children to reach their full potential, but they cannot reach their full potential if they can't breathe. If they don't have the opportunity to live, they can't. No, I'm not even gonna get into the political pieces of this, where it's a he said, she said, or maybe it's not 6 girls who accosted this young baby. Maybe it was 5, or maybe it was 4. That is irrelevant to me, and that's not a fight that I'm willing to take on. But what I'm willing to tell you, that healthcare at its core needs to be provided to every single Jamaican, whether they can afford it or not. Whether they can afford it or not, the world needs to look at Jamaica and not let this bypass. We cater to everybody in the world, every country that they come from. But our residents, the Jamaican people, their health is important to this nation. How can we rise? Sir Andrew Onles, Dr. Christopher Tufton, ministers of Parliament, have some mercy on Jamaicans. Have some mercy on Kaylan. Intervene. If there is no intervention, another Jamaican baby is going to die right in front of our eyes. And I don't want to witness it. Anyways, y'all, walk good. Walk good. Stay strong. Speak up. Fight the fight. Don't ever get silenced. Because we are not dealing with the generation of our forefathers. We will not remain silent. We will not stop. And when there are injustices, we will continue to speak and